Ask any gamer in their 30s about Need for Speed and watch their face light up. For a lot of us, it was the racing game that got us hooked on the genre. The first few games weren't graphical masterpieces by today's standards, but back then they felt incredible. Ferraris, Porsches, McLarens, Lamborghinis, cars we'd only ever seen in magazines, suddenly became drivable. Everything felt fast. Every new unlock felt rewarding. Need for Speed was one of those games that made me fall in love not just with gaming but with racing. I remember playing the first Need for Speed or the second one on some old PC and then getting the Hot Pursuit one for the PlayStation 1. It was fantastic for that time. But then there was one game that completely changed what I thought racing games could be, and that game was Burnout 3 Takedown. I still remember importing official PlayStation 2 magazines from the UK when I was in school. One issue had pages and pages of Burnout 3 screenshots. Coming off Burnout 2's popularity, the hype around this new game was unbelievable. I'd never played a Burnout game before, but somehow those screenshots look alive. You could almost feel the speed and destruction through the faces. Waiting for this game to arrive in my local game store felt like forever. Then, when I finally got it, somehow it was even better than I imagined. The speed, the crashes, the physics, the takedowns, crash mode, and not to forget that incredible punk rock soundtrack blasting while cars crashed and exploded all around you. Every race felt seconds away from complete chaos. And the best part? The game rewarded you for driving like an absolute maniac. I honestly don't think any other racing game has ever matched that feeling. Burnout 3 remains one of the few games I completed, like 100% did it. And the funny thing is, I played that game when I was in school, and now when I'm in my 30s, I'm still playing Burnout 3 and Burnout Revenge in 2026. That's how good they are. Then I realized something. It wasn't just Burnout that I loved, it was Criterion Games. They quietly became my favorite racing studio. When I looked through their catalog, it suddenly made sense. Listen to this: Burnout, Burnout 2, Burnout 3, Burnout Revenge, Black, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, Most Wanted, and Rivals. Even Black, which isn't a racing game and it's not a game that I played too much, is still remembered as one of the best shooters ever on the PS2. Criterion understood one thing: how good games can be and how fun games can be. And now EA just changed everything. Now, of course, this isn't just an EA problem. Big publishers have been buying talented studios for years, and they did that with Criterion. But seeing Criterion stop leading Burnout and even stop Need for Speed development is kind of painful. And they've become a Battlefield support studio? I mean, from a business perspective, I understand. It's all about money for all these companies. Battlefield probably makes far more money than Burnout ever could. It's the same with these live services and battle passes and seasonal content and downloadable stuff. The numbers probably make perfect sense for EA, but gaming isn't just about spreadsheets. It's memories and fun. Now, the most frustrating part of this takeover is that most of us Need for Speed and Burnout fans aren't even asking for a new game. We just want a Burnout 3 or a Burnout Revenge or a Need for Speed Underground or Most Wanted remastered properly. The audience is already there. Millions of people would be happy to play this game again, and a whole new generation would finally understand why these games became classics. EA have the ingredients and they're just sitting on the shelf. I know, Burnout Paradise got a remaster, but honestly, the open world direction never clicked with me the way Burnout 3 or Dominator or Revenge did. For me, Burnout peaked with Takedown and Revenge. And that's what makes all of this so sad. One day I'll probably sit down with my son when he grows up and we'll play Burnout 3 or Revenge together. We'll spend hours crashing into traffic, causing chaos and carnage in crash mode and laughing the entire time. And he'll probably ask me, like, Dad, when's the new Burnout coming out? And I don't know what I'll tell him because the saddest part is that Burnout's completely disappeared. And another problem is that nothing has replaced it. I've tried so many games, right? So Wreckfest, it isn't Burnout. Forza Horizon isn't Burnout. The Crew isn't Burnout. Even modern Need for Speed isn't Burnout. I know we got Dangerous Driving, but that just felt like a cheap copy of Burnout. There's an arcade racing gaming hole in the industry, and that just has not been filled. Criterion didn't just make racing games, they made games that defined an entire generation of gamers. And if this really is the end of Burnout and the end of Criterion as the studio we grew up loving, then I think gaming has lost something special, and a part of my gaming childhood has just died. It's not just another franchise, it's a feeling. So let me ask you this. If you could bring back one racing game and remaster it, what would it be? Burnout 3, Need for Speed Most Wanted, Underground 2, maybe something like Midnight Club or Destruction Derby? Something else entirely? I'd love to know because I have a feeling there are a lot of us who still miss those games. And if you enjoy these kind of gaming stories, looking back at the games that shaped us, or how gaming has changed and what it means now, and how life looks a little different, consider subscribing to 128-Bit Dad. I've got so many more stories to tell. Until next time, take care.